Okay, should be good.
All right, everyone, and I believe we are live. Can we see my screen? It's not showing it to me. Oh, hang on, just having some tech difficulties. All right, can everyone see my screen? Okay, I assume so.
I can. I think so, yes. I'm going to go try to check some of the platforms.
Yeah, all right. So welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another edition of Crewing the Ship, our Port Ancient Partnership highlight. This time I have Charley Cooper joining us, the creator of Egypt and Minecraft.
I'm the Minecraft guy.
Very excited to talk to you about this. I've spent many an hour in Minecraft with my children building things. But first, a bit about SASA, so the Save Ancient Studies Alliance. It's our mission to reverse the current downward trend in the study of the ancient world by engaging the public and bringing together students and scholars to share their passion for the study of the ancient world in order to inspire a vast new generation of students. Actually, that should be better. Where you can find us. So you can find us on all the major social media platforms, of course, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We have a new TikTok, and you can always check out our LinkedIn for opportunities to volunteer and get involved with SASA as well. Please be kind and respectful during our live events. When we do open the chat for questions, feel free to ask any thoughtful questions that come up. Please be patient with technology and those administering it. And our live events are live streamed on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Recordings will be posted on all of the above platforms shortly after the event as well. Lastly, please become a recurring donor if you can. If you enjoy our live events, our Archeo Gaming, book clubs, reading groups, Port Ancient streams, our recent conference, please consider becoming a supporter with a monthly donation. For as little as $3 a month, you can help us to save ancient studies. And saveancientstudies.org/donate to learn more. And lastly, thank you for joining us. And now I'll turn it over to Charley. Can you please tell us a bit just about yourself and your project?
Yep, I'm Charley. I'm the creator of the Egypt and Minecraft project. I'm just slowly building up Egypt a little bit at a time within a Minecraft world and putting it out for people to explore.
Yeah, that's excellent. And I'm sure it's something that a lot of people like to take advantage of. I know Minecraft is a huge game, huge audience of all ages. I guess you said you had a presentation to share with us as well.
Yes.
Show us a bit about what your project looks like so people can get an idea.
Yep, as you can see here, this is a picture of Giza. As you can see, the Great Pyramid in the foreground, Khafre's in the background. Yeah, so this project is mainly to, I guess, bring Egypt to life in a more accessible form that you can excavate yourself.
Oh, cool. Cool. And now, I guess, how expansive is this, is the Egypt you've built? Like, how much have you shown so far? And is it still a work in progress?
Yeah, it's still a work in progress. We'll get into a lot of that, but there we go. Yeah, so what is the project? It's a complete recreation of the the sites, the tombs, pyramids, everything from Egypt as a playable map within Minecraft. Elaborate on these pictures here, you're seeing the Sphinx buried up to its neck in sand as it was discovered. The pyramids in the background, the sealed opening to King Tutankhamun's burial chamber, and some custom Ka statues next to it. It does feature a unique texture pack that I've created myself with a little help from somebody else, the Mint Mermaid, where you can see different idols of different gods. I got Amun, Osiris, Bastet, Neith, and Anubis. Some other retextured stuff, pectoral, scarab, some colored pots, retextured armor, the usual leather armor for a regular foot soldier, some king and queen's regalia that you can find, a Roman legionary helmet, and leather breastplate similar to one that was found in Tutankhamun's tomb, and a set of Mamluk armor. I do intend to capture most of Islamic Egypt too, along with ancient Egypt.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, next to it, some block textures, a papyrus decorated type column that you'd usually find in many temples. Granite bricks, retextured cobblestone to resemble debris, the type you'd usually find in tombs. You can sometimes find some goodies in. A retextured bookshelf is just some, it's just some scrolls type thing. A container that you can find some other goodies in. A more decorated container, usually you can find canoptic jars and organs in it. Some other stuff, hieroglyphs, decorations, that type of stuff. Some of them are more specific. These two are from Tomb 100 at Necken, the first depictions of boats in history. Next to that is from the Tomb of Nebamun. I really liked the art in it, as I assume a lot of people do. Thought it was a good opportunity to just take it and put it in the game as is, so more people could appreciate it. Down here, some of the custom heads I've made that you can find, all based off real life statues and death masks. For example, Amenhotep I cartonnage mask, the Nefertiti bust, Tutankhamun's death mask, the death masks of Yuya and Toya, the death mask of King Hor and his Ka statue, Sinis I death mask, Merod's death masks, and Tutankhamun's Ka statue. So there's more than that. There's a lot of customized textures meant to resemble real things that we've found, the, I guess, environment you would find in Egypt, the culture and artistry, stuff like that. There's 25 explorable towns and cities. These are probably the biggest ones. This is Memphis, also known as White Walls on account of its white walls. I've left it mostly intact for this version, so unlike in real life where it's mostly been quarried to the foundations, it's mostly intact. It's filled with sand, so it should be kind of like excavating Pompeii, but in Egypt with sand. This is Thebes. Here you can see Karnak and the avenue of sphinxes leading up to it. Most of the towns over here, you can excavate all of this, find some good stuff in it. This is Abydos, the Temple of Osiris here, and more of the town over here. There's many sites, monuments, all that type of stuff. For example, the Temple of Hatshepsut. There is Amarna, which is again mostly intact. You can see the Great Temple to the Aten right here, and some more temples and more of the town in the background. The Temple of Bastet in Busiris. These are all based off real life, obviously, from floor plans, stuff like that. And speaking of Bastet, the cat's meowing, trying to get in.
I've got two cats here. I know all too well how that goes.
Yeah, 50 plus pyramids, all of them based off real things. Most of them are a bit downsized, I guess, to help you explore it a bit easier. You don't want to like clear out a whole thing of sand just for like one little scarab.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But yeah, they're all based off all the interiors, all the floor plans, based off the real thing, all the items you can find inside based off the real thing. It's the Step Pyramid of Djoser, obviously, the Bent Pyramid of Snefru, and the Black Pyramid of Amenemhat III. Amenemhat III.
Mm-hmm.
There's over 400 tombs, both real and fictional. These are all, well, these two are real ones. These are the Mastaba Fields of Giza. That's right. I didn't just build the pyramids. I built all the mastabas, the cemeteries, where all the officials were, stuff like that. Again, all based off, the real data I found. This is the tomb of Amenhotep II, one of the two main mummy caches that we found. and it was used for that here too. And the tomb of Nubian king named Quaker Ini, a real king that we know nothing about, but I wanted to include Nubia too, so made him a tomb. You can find yeah, any king that has a name that we know about, I've made them a tomb built from scratch, because obviously we don't have it in real life. But yeah, you can build your own museums to house artifacts. I've left you places to do that. Yeah, here's 3 examples I have. This bottom right one is my own that I've made. I can see heads on display here, statues, stelae, stuff like that. This one was by Melissa in Denial, a Twitch streamer that I've worked with before. This is her Theban museum. She even made the scepter symbol for the city on hers. This one is from Star, one of my friends who's been working in the map a lot. Yeah, he went all out with the decorations, it looks like. But yeah, these are just different ways you can do it. I think a lot of us here have dreamed of, I guess, making our own museum, deciding what to put in it, stuff like that. Here you can do it. You can find stories and learn more about the people of Egypt. I've included with a lot of the figures diaries that you can read. They're all based off real events. Obviously, I look through a summarization of a king's reign and try to make a narrative and a story out of that to better grip the player and help them learn.
Mm-hmm.
For example, Mary Ibre Keti, he was a 9th dynasty ruler. All we know from later texts is that he was a bit of a tyrant, and I wanted his story to reflect that. Now, what parts of history does it cover? This is about a summarization of Egypt's history. I've done everything roughly up to the 18th dynasty. I've just about finished that, and I've just started on the 19th. I'm planning on everything up to the Islamic period, around the time that real-life archaeology began, somewhere around the late 19th century. Now you download it, just have a copy of Minecraft Java Edition, and make a profile set to version 1.13. You can download it from this Google Drive link, which I will post somewhere else, more accessible, probably. And you can install everything from there, put it in the right places. The texture pack and the world file obviously needs to go in the right place. It shouldn't be too hard. You can probably look up a good way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, done right. They should all appear right. The world should be in your world folder. The texture pack should be in your texture packs folder. I've redone the title screen, so it should look something like this, the UI too. So you'll know you did it right if it looks different. And yeah, this is everything else. This is the map of my world so far. You can see the pyramids here. Thebes is down here, the Valley of the Kings, stuff like that. All the different cities. This is my YouTube channel if you want to check out more from me. And I think that's about it.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, that's excellent. And I can imagine it's taken so much work on your part to put this together and do. And yeah, if you, we can definitely get that link and send it out as well on our end for people to join this. Yeah, I guess one question I have is, and this is no small undertaking for sure. What inspired you to do this and to put this together?
So I guess that's kind of changed over the years, the purpose of this project. I've always been interested in history and archaeology from a really young age. Mm-hmm. And I think Egypt is by far the best representation of what archaeology can bring to life. It's a place with a lot of history that's naturally preserved pretty well, to the point where most of the entire archaeological field was started there. People like Petrie, who basically made it and perfected it. I've always wanted to do that sort of stuff myself, I guess. yeah, when I first discovered Minecraft, it didn't take me long before I started building places, pyramids, sites, I think Stonehenge at one point. Yeah, they were kind of rudimentary based off what little knowledge I had. I would put them together, seal them up, and play the part of an excavator later. I did this a few times with a few different Minecraft worlds, with Egypt at least. Um, until I started this one, I kind of wanted to like go all out into detail and make myself something to have fun with. Over the years, I worked on it. I mostly went off Wikipedia and occasionally some other stuff. But a few years ago, I started showing it off to some friends who are also interested in Egyptology, and they really seemed to like it. So I started showing it off more, and I started showing it off more. People seemed to like it, so I started taking it a bit more seriously. I guess went back to a lot of stuff, made it more accurate. Made lots of new ones too. I always started at Wikipedia, but I also went to track down other sources. I read through the original excavation publications for a lot of these sites and learned a lot, mostly through archive.org, the original excavations from like the early 1900s, late 1800s, stuff like that. Read a lot about excavations that were done well or done bad, and thought maybe people could do it their own way here. Stuff like the mummy of Kamos, the arm of Jer, other stuff that was blown up or lost. You can find it here. You can find it intact. You can, I guess, not destroy it like they did. Yeah, instead of reading about what was discovered, what was lost, you can do it here yourself.
Yeah, that's excellent. And I know and I'm sure many people can empathize with, wanting to actually excavate things ourselves. I remember growing up, I wanted to be Indiana Jones, essentially, was my goal in life.
And a lot of people seem to think that for me, it was the Mummy movies with Brendan Fraser.
Yep. Still favorites of mine to this day. So definitely in good company. What do you think has been, I'd say, the biggest challenge when you've put together?
Probably last year when I was trying to, I guess, work this into a more professional form for release. I was going over to a lot of places being like, this doesn't look right. I got to redo this. I was trying to type out a lot of text and put it in the game to give the whole world more of a narrative you can actually explore.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess conversely, what would you say has been the most rewarding thing about putting this together? And just before you answer, I just want to mention, if anyone watching has any questions, definitely feel free to put them in the chat and we'll read them out and hopefully discuss them a bit.
Yeah, this has always been something I would work on and off, kind of. I've always been more of a hands-on learner, and this was definitely a good way to learn. Reading up on a tomb or a pyramid, so I was building it myself. I have a lot of sites and people and events memorized now because of this.
I can imagine. Yeah, and I know you mentioned you played around a bit with things like Stonehenge in the early days. Do you see yourself eventually moving out of Egypt and building, into different civilizations, Rome, Greece, Mesoamerica, anything like that?
I think I'll mostly stay in Egypt for, I guess, an entire explorable world. I think Egypt would be best, but I have dabbled in other things. I made the monument at Bernines in France a bit ago. I think I have the Temple of Hattusa half finished. But yeah, I'm always open to working on other structures, other sites, and showing them off.
Cool. And so I guess one thing, it's probably a random question that comes to mind, but what was the first thing that you built, like for Egypt at least? What was your project of choice?
I guess it was a basic answer, the Great Pyramid.
I mean, it may be basic, but popular for a reason, right? The Great Pyramid is iconic. So I definitely don't fault you there. And I was very excited to see you built the city of Amarna, Akhenaten. I love, so I'm definitely going to be hopping in and messing around in there as much as possible, personally. I know you said you've gotten a good response from this. Has it really taken off as you released it?
Yeah, I'm definitely getting a lot of people who are very interested in it. Yeah, like I said, I've kind of, I guess, given life to a lot of these sites and people that nobody's really heard of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Egypt is so vast and there's so much we can learn from it. And tools like this, they really open the world to people. I think particularly as a parent, I default to children. I have 2 kids at home. My 10-year-old loves Minecraft, and I can see things like this being amazingly educational for children, because Minecraft is just such a great game for them. It really sucks them in and lets them have fun in a cooperative way. Do you think this would be appropriate to use, say, in like lesson plans and whatnot for teachers or maybe homeschooling parents?
Yeah, Melissa in Denial, who I've mentioned earlier, she's an educator and also a Twitch streamer. She's an Egyptologist. She streams games like that, mostly set in Egypt. Yeah, she's told me before she plans on using some of what I've made in her lesson plans. She also teaches.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's great. And I know we do similar work here at SASA with our Archeo gaming teams, putting together learning modules for teachers. And yes, just this is yet another example of different ways we can reach a new audience in ancient studies, and why this is a great partnership, I think. I see. Pulling up another question here. I know we talked a bit about how long it takes for you to put together a build like this. I mean, how long did it take to, say, build the Great Pyramid?
Well, I used commands to build the Great Pyramid. In older versions, I'd place it block by block, and then I discovered how to use commands. Only recently, about a year ago, I discovered the World Edit mod, and that's made everything a lot faster, knowing how to use that. But yeah, I've been working on this on and off for probably a few years. I've started like seriously going into it the past couple of years.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I see how something like this could very easily be almost a full-time job to work on in and of itself. Just putting it together, not even mention promoting it, or live streams like this that take your time too, to get the word out.
Yeah, well, luckily for me, it's always been a bit of a passion thing, I guess.
Oh, and that is something I think we can relate with as well, or most people in ancient studies could. It's definitely not always a field that pays well per se, so it's a passion that gets a lot of us through, myself included. That
I've always felt ancient history, especially Egypt, as that's just as interesting as modern history. I know a lot of people like to gloss over it. Every mapping video I've seen, they only go through ancient times century by century, and then after the AD point, it's year by year. But yeah, I think it can be just as complicated, just as interesting as anything that's happening in the last couple hundred years.
Oh, for sure. I definitely agree with you there. And it is something that a lot of people gloss over, as you say, or don't look at quite as in depth as we do, say, early modern history. And I think some of that is because we're removed from it, but also it can be complicated, right? It can be intimidating to look at, say, Egypt that's got thousands of years of history, predating modern times, and try and piece that together. And I guess, so what's one thing or what's something that keeps you motivated, as you're looking through this and digging through all of this?
Yeah, I guess just like you were going over before, I wanted to I guess humanize some of these people, give them a voice. A lot of the kings that I've added, they're just names in fragmentary lists that we have.
Mhm.
I think one example, Visor Anku, was from the 13th dynasty.
Okay.
Only like, I guess, some more dedicated Egyptologists would have even heard of him. And I decided to give him a narrative, stuff to do, diary to find, learn about what the visor does, stuff like that.
Mhm. Oh yeah. Well, that's great. And I guess so, given that there's not much of a established narrative for pharaohs like that, how do you determine what to put in their stories or what to put out there for people for them?
Yeah, I'm just naturally good at making stories, I guess. Usually
Oh,
I go
good.
through, yeah, I go through the events of their reign, stuff like that. Any, I guess, semblance of their personality that I can find, and build off that pretty quickly.
Okay. Yeah, and that's what we have to do as historians, right? Or people who, or even armchair historians like myself, if we want to know more about
It's like when you
ancient worlds.
yeah, it's like when
Yeah,
you reconstruct something, I guess you only have a few pieces, so you put those together as best you can and fill in the rest with your own thing.
exactly. Yeah. And we try to be as true to the narrative as you possibly could be, but there's always going to be holes that we have to fill with theories. And I think it's not something to shy away from if we want to, as you say, humanize people in the past, because they really weren't all that different from people of today at all. They had the same desires, same passions, same needs and wants.
Seen, I guess, graffiti from Pompeii. It looks just like a raunchy message board you'd see today. People were pretty
Exactly.
much the same back then.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. It's like it reminds me of watching the HBO series Rome and the graffiti that they have all over the opening, and it's some of it's quite lewd. And yeah, we don't really talk about that in school, but it definitely existed. All right. I think we're just about done with our stream here, at least as far as the time I had allotted for this. Do you have anything else you want to share with our audience before I end things?
Yeah, here's the drive link if you need it again. Just take the time to snip that if you need it. All right, and it's gone. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, now that you have that, yeah, you can pop over to my YouTube channel or to my Instagram that I've definitely posted on for the past few months. Um, yeah, I should have the link there pretty soon. Yeah, as long as you
Oh,
have
great.
as long as you have Minecraft Java, you can download it and use it.
Mhm. Wonderful. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I'm going to end the stream now, but thank you to everyone who watched us and who will watch this in the future. And look forward to our other streams coming